All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the second episode of Gentleman's Discourse. Hope you guys had a wonderful week, and I hope you guys liked our last episode. So
Hello,
last
hello.
time we had a quite a heavy topic, and so I feel like this week,
Yeah,
how about we trying to go with some stuff that's less heavy, more casual stuff. What do you think?
less. What do you mean by less heavy?
How was your week then? I mean,
I was um my week's been we've been good. Actually, kind of bad. Not bad news, but I have to move again like next week,
oh,
so it's just really hectic. I have to pack and stuff. I hate. Do you hate? I hate packing. Do you?
yeah,
I don't know. I just
moving in
yeah.
general feels like a task, really hard one to do.
I hate it. So yeah, it's been tough. I say. What about you? What about how's your week?
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know, Ryan's living in Canada, and I'm currently living in Hong Kong. And the coronavirus situation just got a bit out of hand these past few days. And
Yeah.
there has been like a new cases of outbreaks, and in general, yeah, it's a hectic week, but still feeling pretty positive. And I hope people that are listening are feeling fine, staying healthy, and yeah,
You
how
got enough masks?
yeah, enough mask, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
feel
That's
like
great.
there's
That's
like
great.
a shortage because um compared to like the beginning of the outbreak where people had like panic buying and hoarding stuff.
Oh, I hated
I
that.
think people right now are a lot more
Sensible.
sensible, yeah, with their
Yeah.
purchases. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah. That's great.
yeah. So we I haven't talked to you in a few days, but like I remember last time we said something. Um, you said you had this like a weird dream because like shit's been going on, like and I've been meaning to ask you this whole time, but like actually just tell us like do you even like
Yeah.
what
You
usually
know what?
dreams do you get? What kind of dreams do you usually get?
That's a really good question because recently, truth be told, recently, as I said, I've been busy packing and all the moving stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
And on top of that, I have not been able to get enough sleep. I don't know why. It's just really hard to fall asleep. And then every time I fall asleep, there's like these vivid dreams happening. Uh, okay, the most recent one is basically. Oh, this is gonna sound weird to for those who are listening right now, but these are dreams, so whatever, right? So basically, just imagine like a water a theme park, okay?
Yep, water
So
park.
they're just like yeah, water theme park, yeah, water park. So they're like these slides, yeah.
Yep.
So imagine these slides were okay. So in that dream, I'm like I have this I'm this character. I have to go on this mission, whatever,
Hmm.
okay. And then I'm like I have to swim up these slides and to this exit where it leads to the ocean.
Yep.
And then before because I myself in waking life, okay, I am scared of the ocean. I actually like I'm afraid of the
Oh,
ocean,
okay.
and I generally don't like swimming as well. So whatever. So I was standing in front of the exit. Before I stepped out into the ocean, someone from behind pulled me back in and be like, "Hey, you don't have to go out," and then just pull me back into a pool, and we're like having fun. Like that's it. That's all I can remember.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
on the topic, like, because you were moving, right? So, do you have
Yeah.
like dreams when, especially you're like tired? Because for me, I tend to have dreams only during like holiday periods. So, if my school starts or if I'm generally
Okay.
busy with life, I'm like dead
Okay.
tired when I sleep. I don't dream at all. But whenever it's holiday and I have my mental state is I'm more at ease, so I'm more relaxed, then I tend to have dreams almost like every day, and they're like the weirdest, trippiest experiences going on in my head. But what's that for you? So do you
Wait,
get yeah?
no, I was just gonna say, so you get more dreams when you're more relaxed?
Yeah, so when I'm so basically my experience with like these stuff is like because I'm when I'm working or when school starts, for example, because
Yeah,
right now my
yeah,
summer term has began and
yeah.
I'm quite busy. So when I sleep, it's like it's almost like a blackout because maybe
Oh,
I'm tired, maybe I overworked, I don't know. But once I'm during holidays and I'm more relaxed, I tend to get more dreams.
okay.
That's
Oh,
like
really?
the
Because for me,
relationship for me.
oh, because for me, I okay, I myself is a really light sleeper, so any tiny sound can wake me up immediately.
Uh
So
huh.
first of all, that's that. So I don't think I can ever get to that deep sleep level or whatever it's called. I actually forgot, but uh, I dream a lot. I dream a lot. There's like no time period. Like when I dream when I'm tired. I dream when I'm not tired.
So it's just like a sort of like a spontaneous thing that happens randomly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Okay, what's like when's okay, let's say when's the last time you dreamt?
The last time I dreamt, see, with like going back to the relationship I said about my sleep thing. Ever since I started the summer term, which was last week. So basically, the last podcast we did, that was basically the
Yeah.
start. And ever since that
Okay.
day, I like it's all been like blackout sleep for me because maybe I was tired and that.
Okay. But okay, one thing, one burning question I have for you
Sure, sure,
is
sure.
that how do you care what the dream show you or so-called like quote unquote what dreams means to you?
Oh, that's actually really good because
Yeah.
so based on my limited psychological knowledge, there
Yeah.
has been people saying that dreams are a form of like a subconscious hint. So basically,
Yeah.
what you are dreaming could be like coming from basically the bottom part of your heart. So basically, what
Yeah.
you're there's some correlations between what the contents of your dream and your sort of like carnal desires, stuff like that. So there has been not I don't want to say research because I'm not really a professional, but I've seen people claiming that there has been a relationship, and for me, I feel like my dreams are sort of related to me as well. What about you?
Okay, okay. I obviously I've heard a lot about how dreams, as you said, are subconscious hints to you, what you actually perceive in waking life.
Yeah.
These are like messages to you, right? But also another thing is that how like let's not talk like obviously besides scientific explanation of how what dreams are. They're like superstition, believe what dreams are
I mean,
actually
it's still
what.
boils down to like your brain activity while you sleep. That's the
Oh,
scientific
exactly.
explanation.
But no, but I was gonna say that how in ancient times how
Ah, you mean
people
like
interpret
prophecies,
dreams.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
dreams are like
prophecies and
prophecies from
yeah.
like a
Actually, fun fact. Yeah, fun
uh,
fact is that in ancient, I think Native American or Egypt, Greek, whatever. Uh, so in ancient times, okay,
that's quite a
when you
broad term. You went from like one continent straight to another one.
okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah. Go on, go on,
okay.
go on, go
My
on.
bad, my bad. But so basically, I actually read it. I forgot where, but apparently they do. So let's say you want to have this explanation to, or you want an answer to something in your life, right? And you're
Yes.
superstitious. I mean, back then, everyone's superstitious,
Yeah.
and they would go to like a temple or whatever, and they will ask a prophet or a priest to for answers, and the priest would actually, after all the rituals, there's like a little room, or like a specific room within the temple or
Hmm.
the shrine, whatever.
Yep.
So the priest or prophet can actually go to sleep in that room, so they can receive so-called messages
Ah,
from gods and
whatever
deities.
being that's they
Yeah,
believe in,
yeah.
right?
So that that's really like that. That's interesting, but also funny in a sense that you're going for, for an answer, and to be like, okay, give me a night. I'm asleep. I'm asleep on it. I'll
I
tell
thought
you what
I
the
thought
answer
it
is
was
tomorrow.
gonna be more like so like the priest is gonna like do some hypnosis stuff to you, and then he's gonna like read your dream. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but then after
Oh,
you said like the priest was gonna go and sleep, I think that's
yeah.
kind of weird because in my head,
That.
while I'm listening to you, I was thinking like, okay, maybe the priest is gonna like, okay, drink this potion and lie down on the altar,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
like slice up a lamb's blood and then pour it all over you, and I'm gonna start reading your dreams and tell you what God wants you to do. So I'm thinking
That,
something like
that's
that, right?
yeah, that's part of. Okay, what I said just now, the priest going to sleep is one of the rituals. Some of the rituals are the one seeking answer, and the priest would, both go to sleep in the same room, and
Ah,
then the next day or how many days after, they will both, try to read their dreams or interpret their dreams together, and see if there are any similarities or hints that correlate with each other.
man, I wish I was that priest. I get paid for sleep.
I,
Like, come
I
on,
mean,
that's
what you
that's
what,
that's just a really lazy job. Like, come on,
okay,
right?
you can't say that. Okay, priests don't work for money.
I mean, that
Okay,
specific job sounds pretty awesome to me. You
but
get
yeah,
to
so
sleep, you get to dream.
yeah. Oh
Damn.
yeah, and then you get to just do that all over again. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that how, because I was saying there's like another side to dream interpretation, yeah, because
So it's yeah, yeah, yeah. And
there's a whole thing
I
in
think like
science. Yes,
yeah,
go
there's
ahead.
one thing called Dreamcatchers, right? It's like a net thingy, right? I'm
I
not
never
really.
understand that thing. What is
Yeah,
that? What
I always
actually is that?
yeah, I always knew that that thing existed. I saw stuff like it was trendy for a while, I think, on social media, those stuff. Everyone had this like so it's basically like a was it like a wooden thing that has like a few
I think it's like
ropes,
a
strings?
circle, and then they're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
feathers
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it was supposed to like catch your dreams. I don't know if it's supposed to catch your nightmares
Oh,
or block something out, but anyways, it has
I
something to do with dreams. And I
I
feel
just
like
googled it.
yeah, what does it actually do though?
Dreamcatcher is a protective talisman that is used
Ah,
to protect people from nightmares and bad
yeah, yeah,
dreams.
yeah.
Oh, so
So it's
Dreamcatcher
so it's actually like it's like a dream filter. Like it filters out the
is a
bad
dream.
ones.
Yeah, it's a dream shield.
Is a dream shield. Yeah. Sort of like sleeping with a cross next to you to like block out the demons and stuff. Like those kind of
Do you
stuff.
think that works though? Oh, I hate night. Have okay. What's your I really want to know. What's your worst nightmare? Do you
My
remember
worst nightmare. Okay.
your worst
Um
nightmare?
my worst nightmare is like a concurring thing. So
Oh
you
shit.
usually it's almost like the same theme where I sort of out of nowhere I commit some crime and I'm
Okay.
running from the police. It's basically my nightmare. But
Oh, oh,
but
okay,
it's like one of
okay.
those movies where I'm just saying like, yo, I didn't do it on purpose or it was an accident, I'm innocent, but somehow I'm still running. And then it just basically
Oh,
like
those
you
kind.
get like an adrenaline spike while you are sleeping and then you wake up all
Oh,
like sweaty and stuff. So that's how I get it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's usually the like really really hyper stuff. So like getting chased by
Oh, yeah.
people, running from like mobs, gangs, those stuff. Well,
Okay, but have you ever dreamt of something and then wake up crying?
crying.
Have
Uh,
you never? Bro.
no,
Okay, let me
that
tell you
sounds that
something.
sounds kind of that sounds kind of interesting. Like I want to know what happened, but that's also sounds something like straight out of a horror film. So like, well, what happened?
No, crying not as in like crying for help.
Oh,
Crying is more
oh,
like
you mean like
let's say in the
sad?
dream, yeah, sadness cry. Let's say in a
Oh,
dream,
that's even
someone,
more weird. Well, tell me about it.
let's say one of my loved ones passed away in the dream,
Oh
right? And then
shit.
I was crying, and then when I wake up, there are actually tears in my eyes. Like I am
Holy.
actually crying my eyes out. Have you
You see,
never?
like,
No way.
no, you see, like, yeah. So first, like, I've never experienced something like that. The only dreams where I wake up in like a certain emotional state is I wake up like
Yeah.
a really, like I said, it's like after, it's like that kind of feeling you get after like a roller coaster ride. It's like adrenaline, basically.
Oh,
But
that's it.
but yeah, back to your content. So remember we said earlier, like people, there's been like a scientific, or like not scientific, so basically there has been, always has been like claims that what you dream is related to what, you know, basically what your heart feels, or like your subconsciousness,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
some people might propose that maybe if you dream about like a certain loved ones dying, or you are being alone, it has
Yeah.
some part of your subconscious that's saying that maybe you're afraid of like being alone. Like it's usually these kind of stuff,
Oh
rather than
no.
like the spiritual context where like, oh, God wants you to go to some place, right?
Oh
It's usually like
no.
that.
Oh no.
But
Don't
but
expose me like that. Is that real?
I don't know. You see, the thing is, my relationship with these kind of stuff is that it's so, like, you can rationalize with it, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
sort of
true.
can. Like if I ask myself, why do I get these dreams where I'm running from people or where I'm in trouble, it's because
Hmm.
some part of me is really scared of like messing up. So like I don't want to mess up with like stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
still,
That's
I
true.
can still rationalize with the content, like, but then
Okay.
if you say that it's like a definite relationship, like there's a correlation between what I'm afraid of and what I dream. I mean, I could say it's true, but then I can't really bring out any proof to it, right? That's how I feel with the whole
Okay,
field of like
that's fair.
study. Yeah.
What? Okay. What if? I mean, okay. What's your, opinion on subconscious? Okay, so subconscious to me, like at first, I feel like I feel subconscious to me is like a hidden part of myself that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
there, but I never have fully access to it.
Yeah.
So that in a sense, it kind of, kind of trips me out. As in, like, it, is there like any way to bring that, subconsciousness out to 100%, and what will it be like? What's your opinion on
I mean, so like you said you were like afraid of like the ocean, right?
that? Yeah.
And my view is that, so basically we have been to space and beyond, but we still haven't discovered like what, 80%? I forgot the exact number.
90,
90
93
or
or something
something,
like that. Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
ocean, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know, because you don't know what lies like beneath the ocean. That's why some people are scared, right? You
Yeah.
feel like there's just suddenly gonna be this whole giant thing come out of the water or some shit like that.
Yeah.
My
Cthulhu.
Yeah, you know those stuff. My feeling with subconscious is that I'm sometimes afraid that maybe some part of me that I don't know, that I can't really control, just suddenly comes out one day and then overtakes my like rational side and then do something stupid. Like I might end up what, committing, like I said, committing some crime,
Committing a crime.
and then I have to run away from the police, just like I had in my like nightmares. So like,
I would love to see your name on newspaper.
oh, oh shit. Yeah, that's why you see, like that's why I always had these kind of nightmares, because I don't think I know myself enough to say that, okay, this is who I am, because I always think that there is this part of me that's like deep down and sort of like tucked away. But then I'm afraid that if something
Hmm.
happens and that part just becomes unshackled, like hell might
Hmm.
break loose. That's my relationship with subconscious.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
yeah.
let's. So, okay. Yeah. You were finishing.
Oh yeah, I'm just like trying to like cuz I'm still kind of scared to like talk about it. I'm just like trying to
Oh
process it.
damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead. What were you going to
Oh
say?
no, I was just gonna say, you know how you mentioned that dreams or we both agreed on that dreams are a reflection of what we perceive in
It could
waking
be.
life, yeah. And then
Could be.
you're right, it could be, and then when we sleep, it's like feeding back messages to us,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then in
yeah.
some way hoping that we can interpret that. But do you think our subconsciousness is affecting our consciousness, or do you think our consciousness is affecting subconsciousness? Because if so, like,
Hmm.
because dreams, if dreams are something that is affected by something we perceive in waking life, then
Yes.
are we affecting subconscious, are we building the subconsciousness within us, or is the subconsciousness there, like at the end, like at the end goal already is like driving us towards that, because we don't know what it knows, right?
Oh wow, that is that
But
is
that
that is
that just occurred to me.
really huge like question. But I thought about it. Um, I honestly I don't have like an how do I say educated
Oh, you
answer
don't,
for
yeah,
that.
you don't need an
But
answer, I mean, you
but
don't
I
have to
can but I
provide
can
an
but I can
answer, yeah.
say something. So
Yeah, yeah,
what I feel like this relationship between your consciousness and subconsciousness is that I think they are both part of who you are. So basically it's like a yin and yang side. So they're
yeah.
both
Okay.
feeding stuff with each other. So I don't feel like one side completely controls you, but I feel
Hmm.
like they both will affect each other. So I had this like analogy that I think like, so your consciousness is like a plant that is living,
A
right?
plant.
Plant that's living. So when it
Okay.
dies, its content returns to the soil, and then it becomes nutrient that allows the newer plants to grow. So it's sort of like a
Okay.
cycle. That's how I view it.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure because, like I said, I'm not an expert, but that's how I would imagine it to be, sort of like a cycle that one feeds into another, and then the other one feeds into the other one. So that's how I view it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
This is like too much for me, because sometimes, um, when I think of, it's just when you try to grasp something so vague,
yep,
your mind just crumbles, fall apart.
yeah. I feel like I had this similar feeling. So the reason I'm kind of scared about this whole subconscious part is that I feel like it's out of my control. I feel like, so like,
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
say what we do is like while we're driving a car, right? So you're supposed to
Hmm.
have one guy on the steering wheel controlling the car, right? And then you have
Hmm.
passengers, right? So I
Hmm.
always have this feeling that the passengers have a steering wheel as well, but they just haven't tucked it somewhere else. Like,
Okay.
so
Okay. That's
you
fair.
were like
That's a really
driving
good
down the
analogy.
highway, nothing really happened,
Yeah.
but then suddenly
Yeah.
this passenger decides like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take over, let me just drive this shit to the left and then crash it to the next
Yeah.
lane.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I always have
That's
to
true.
like, yeah, that's how I view it. So I don't know.
Oh, are there, like, do you think you have something? Okay, I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of talk about how you're afraid of doing shady stuff, and then it's like
Wow.
because, like, I'm thinking, is there, like, for myself, I don't really know if my the conscious Ryan and the subconscious Ryan is the same person. Like, what if
Yeah.
they're polar opposite?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
so scary.
Yeah, I
Because as
mean,
you said, let's say one day out of nowhere, my mind just snapped, and then the subconscious Ryan came out, and it's actually who I am.
no, no.
And
Yeah,
it's
but
really
I feel
scary.
like rather than saying I'm more afraid of doing shady stuff, it's more like I said, I'm afraid of losing control. So if you tell me there's
Mm,
this subconscious copy of me, right? That
mm,
I that that sort of can take control out of nowhere. I feel like it's scary because I don't know when I'm gonna lose that control and be put into the passenger's seat and then just like watch my whole life crash down from like a sort
yeah.
of like a third person perspective, which is kind of scary. So have you seen like the movie Get Out, right? So
Oh yes, I did.
what when the lady like taps the was it like a
The
cup
guy.
with the
Oh
spoon,
yeah,
right?
the
And then his
sunken place.
yeah, he sinks down, right? That's what I'm well
Yeah.
that's kind of how I imagine it would be like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
my conscious mind or like maybe sometimes when I lose control I just sort of like sink down and then watch the world sort of like not knowing what I do. But then there's also part of me, right? So we talked
Hmm.
about this side of like subconsciousness being
Hmm.
something that's sort of like a sleeper basically in our body, like a sleeper agent
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
gets activated for some like God knows what reason. But then
Yeah.
always had this other counter theory to it that I feel like sometimes I shift like my own responsibility and my like accountability onto my subconscious. So for example, you have someone who said something really bad while he was mad, right? So instead of
Okay.
owning
Yeah.
up to it, you say, "Oh, sorry, I lost control. That wasn't me." Right? I always had this
Uh,
feeling too. I don't know how you think about it.
oh, wait. You have this feeling because you're afraid that you're gonna do it, or do
No,
you
no, no.
do
I
it,
mean
or
like
what do you mean?
by 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 like thinking that I might lose control or there's like
Oh, okay.
another
Okay.
copy of me, I might be shifting my own accountability onto like something that might not even exist. So for example, if we had a
Okay.
fight
That's fair.
and I said like um your hairline
That's
is
not
messed
me.
up, you know?
That's
I said
inner
something
me.
like that. And then afterwards, instead of like apologizing, say, hey, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I said something wrong. I shouldn't have said that. But I'm just like, yo, that wasn't actually me, you know? Like, I feel like
I
that's
mean, okay.
such
Well,
a,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's such a
That's
bad
fair.
thing
That's
to
fair.
do
Okay,
as well.
but also another thing is that we said subconsciousness is basically something we can't control. I don't think anyone can actually control their subconsciousness, right?
We don't even
So do
know
you
if it
think?
actually exists. Like,
Okay, wait, hold on, hold on. Don't do this to me, okay? Because well, okay, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. You see, that's the thing. I some part of me thinks that there is subconscious. Some part of me that wants control is like, yo, don't blame it on something that's like, in the back of your
I don't
head.
even
Just
think it's
own up.
blaming or not. I don't think it's blaming or not. It's basically how, as I said, it's someone in your body that
Yeah.
you just can't control. It's just there with
So
you.
then whenever you
Or
yeah.
no, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So like whenever you do something that isn't like you can always say that, oh, it's actually not me. It's the other Ryan in my body. Like that's how I'm saying. And that
Okay,
kind of
because
scares me as well.
I was gonna ask the question, how do you, because obviously consciousness is confined by physical body, what we think,
Yeah.
how we talk, whatever. Do you think the subconsciousness can be dictated by something metaphysical? And then, as how people would love to refer to astrology, and how moon sign is your true self, how sun sign is how what you
Whoa, whoa,
those
whoa,
kind of things,
whoa,
right?
whoa. Yo.
That's a whole thing, right? That's
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
people try to justify their real personality, so called, which is their
Okay.
subconsciousness, or whatever.
I need you to like educate me here. What are even moon signs and sun signs? I don't even know what they are. So like tell me about it.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, okay. Let me go off on you.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
listening.
So I may be super wrong here because I don't want anyone that are, listening to this that are super into astrology to hate on me. I'm not saying I'm that super educated, but so basically, okay, so when's your birthday again?
It's in
It
December.
in December? Okay, so
Yeah, yeah,
wait,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
Sagittarius, yeah? You told me, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
yeah.
basically, that sign is your sun sign. So your sun sign is whatever. Whenever people say, "Oh, your birthday, that's your sign, that's your sun sign," and that's basically
Okay.
what how you present to other people.
Ah, okay.
And then your moon sign, they have this like calculator to just key in your birthday, and yeah, and then like when were you born, like the time, and then there's like
Yeah.
a chart, like a moon chart.
Oh.
And then so moon sign basically is your true self, like who you actually are within the
Ooh.
physical body,
Uh-huh.
right? So let's say I'm a Capricorn. My sun sign is Capricorn because that's dictated by when I was born, and then my
Yes.
moon sign is in Aries,
Ah.
and
So
that
so
see.
wait. So is the sun sign fake?
No, it's not fake, but no, every sign has like its purpose. As I said, sun sign is what you how people perceive you, a
Ah,
first
okay,
impression,
okay.
right? Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like
And then
a
let's say, yeah,
exterior.
let's say as they get, yeah, let's say as they get to know you more, maybe your so-called moon sign is going to come out more, and they're going to perceive you more like the moon sign instead of the sun sign.
Ah.
Ah, yeah, okay. So that's the whole thing. So that got me thinking how a lot of people would resolve to astrology and not, I'd say, like pseudoscience stuff
Uh-huh.
to justify or make sense of their subconsciousness or who they quote unquote actually are. So what do you think? Because I know you are you. I mean, it's not like I know you really well, but
All right.
I think you're a really scientific oriented person
I
because
mean,
you
yeah.
read a lot of, yeah, right.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a scientific oriented. I like facts, and I like reading
You
about
like
different stuff.
facts.
I'm not gonna go like all Ben Shapiro like facts, not feelings, but yeah. Um, I my view with these like astrological signs. So like you got like Capricorns, Cancers, all those stuff, right? Um,
Hmm.
my relationship with that is that I think rather than so you have obviously one group of people who are diehard fans about it. Like I've met people who are like, oh,
Okay.
you're a Cancer, you must be this, right? You have
Okay,
those
let's
kind of
not call them
people,
fans. Let's not call them fans. They
or
are,
believers, firm
yeah,
believers,
believers.
right?
Yeah,
And then you have
believers.
another group of people who are like, oh, what are you? Why are you even mentioning these stuff to me? I hate it. It's all like a
It's
it's like
fake, right? Yeah.
yeah. So my relationship with it is that, like I said before, I don't know if you remember our conversation. I think pseudoscience is still a science, but then it's like half and half. So like a cocktail science.
Okay. A
So my
cocktail
relationship,
science.
yeah. So like it's mixed. It's not pure one thing. My
Okay. Yeah.
relationship with these like star signs is that I think these stuff have some hint of truth because it's
Mhm.
based on behavioral science. So, for example, if we
Okay.
are
Okay.
both born in December, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you know, like all the big data stuff, right? So big data means like
I
this
don't know.
set of data will apply to the majority of people within this context. So if I
Wait.
apply,
Wait.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. So basically, let's say like
I don't know.
when I try to when big data tries to predict something, it's gonna base
Okay.
its prediction on the majority context. So for example, I'm a clothing brand that
Okay.
sells clothing, and if I collect some data about customers preference, so if my data tells me that if I were to make a summer clothing line, people would appreciate lighter color more than darker color to wear in the
Oh.
summer, right?
Yeah. I mean,
But the
I
thing is,
get big data, but is it
yeah,
applicable to human as
no,
well?
no, you gotta let me finish my whole thing.
Oh, my
Um,
bad. My bad. My bad.
yeah, so I'm not saying that it applies to everyone, but it applies to a larger proportion of the customers. So you've probably had like more than 50% ish. So my relationship with star signs, I think that what they're saying, like for example, I've read something about my star sign that says that I'm really like impulsive, right? I
Okay,
don't I
are
don't
you?
I don't even know. I'm not really huge, but I've read something. Some things I can relate to, and some things are like, wait, this is just so weird to me. So my
Okay,
relation with it, I think it's a good system of generalizing. So yes, maybe people born within this time frame all have similar properties that can be
okay,
concluded into a subset. So you split that into 12 different signs, right?
yeah,
So that's how I view it. There's a hint of
okay,
truth with human behavior being in a pattern, right? So you have one group of people like this, another group like this. So when you divide that into 12 different groups, you almost always can accurately predict someone based on their group division. That's how I see it.
okay. So obviously, like the reason why I brought up astrology and how we were talking about subconscious is because astrology, one thing, is like a part of how people try to be spiritual, and I wouldn't say like being religious because I don't think astrology is a religion, right? So being
Uh-huh.
spiritual, and how have you heard of the Great Awakening?
Oh, no, what is that?
Okay, so
I don't.
basically,
Yeah, go
so
go on.
basically, Great Awakening is just as I said, how your subconscious or your real self is going to take over.
Ah.
And yeah, and then the people are saying how, if let's say if the Great Awakening is actually real, okay,
Yep.
you are going to go through like these phases, and you're going to see all these like numbers, like all these, I wouldn't say numbers, but like signs the world is
Uh-huh.
giving you, and then you're going to
Damn.
go through so-called phases. It's not
Mom,
emo
it's not a
phase, okay?
phase.
So phases being like uh you would go through like a depression phase, or you basically your lifestyle is going to change because you're going through this transformational period in your life.
Uh-huh.
That's so called the Great Awakening of your subconscious, or your
Yep.
spiritual self.
I mean, isn't
And
that just puberty? I mean,
okay, you
like
can't
I
you
remember
can't you can't do that, you
I
can't do that.
remember changing my like throughout puberty, so throughout the age of 16 to like I'd say at least even now, like I'm 20, so 16 to maybe 20-ish. I'd had my
Yeah,
mind blown, rebuilt, blown up again, rebuilt and blown
okay,
up the third time like constantly because I'm just absorbing so much knowledge, and then I'm entering a whole new different world from like high school, or like from my even like the earlier days of high school compared to the
yeah,
later days of high school, and the things that
yeah.
go on in my life, like the events that happen, the people around me, the things I go through, like that's just, I mean,
but
I'm gonna trigger a lot of people, but I just think that's normal because we have to like change, right? That's like generalizing. It's
yeah,
like, oh, that's
so
just growing up, right?
I
Or
mean,
if
okay,
some, yeah,
puberty was more like a physical thing. I mean, obviously our mind go through changes,
yeah,
and we
of
are
course.
able to attain more knowledge. Yeah, so that's puberty. But the Great Awakening is actually like is catered towards how your mind is going through a growth period where it is
So
able
like
to perceive more than physical
so
things.
like your
And
post
your
breakup clarity period.
what do you mean post breakup clarity?
So like after a breakup, you suddenly become like a newer person, and then would you call that a great awakening? That's just a
No,
sort of like
no,
traumatically induced
no.
growth, right?
You're missing the point here. I'm saying how Great Awakenings is the physical you
Uh-huh.
entering a metaphysical version of yourself.
So like
So
merging
you,
between the two worlds, right?
yes, I mean, if that's true, if I mean,
I mean,
obviously
I'm
what I'm
just
what
trying
I'm
to.
saying is basing on if anything is true, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're right. So you're basically merging two versions of yourself, or even
Uh,
transforming completely into this so-called better version of yourself because you're more aware of everything around you, not
I think that's.
not just
I think.
physically.
Yeah. I think what
No,
you
I'm
said
done.
is like a really poetic and a artistic view on like people in general. That's how I think.
I
I'm
mean,
not
that's
saying
what they
that
say. That's
the
what they
Great
say.
Awakening is like something that's fake. I completely agree that throughout our lives we will have something like a great awakening, like what you just described. But
Uh,
it might it, pe- you might call it a great awakening. I might call it post breakup or puberty, but I think we're all referring to the same thing where you sort of something happened that you sort of have to like dive into yourself, like get like a deep dive to like sort things out, figure out who you are, what you want in life. Like,
I
is
mean,
it the same thing as what
I
you're saying?
guess I don't know because like I don't think. Okay, first of all, I don't think I'm going through a great awakening or just you
Oh no.
so-called second puberty or whatever, right?
Second puberty.
But I've heard a lot about the great awakening, especially among the spiritual community, and not just astrology believer. Basically, um, let's say I've known a few people that are like uh, they're Buddhist, I'd say, because
Yeah,
they believe in Buddhism, right? And they
sure.
also buy into the Great Awakening idea, how everyone's going to go through this phase once in their life, like a spiritual transformational phase.
Sure.
So, right? So, since we're like talking about how subconscious may dictate how we live our life, so I don't know, maybe that's. I
I
actually
mean,
don't know.
okay, so I feel like our difference here, I sense that. So you're talking about spiritual, right? So it's sort of like a so like your
Yeah,
subconscious is on like a different plane, those stuff.
yeah,
but
yeah,
i
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
more inclined to believe, like scientifically speaking, we go through behavioral changes and different stages in life, which is pretty normal. But if you put that into a spiritual context, then I would definitely agree that yes, of course, we will have our great
Okay,
awakenings in our life. That's like for sure. Like maybe this is like something traumatic happened, or like something just in life in general happened. You probably go through this phase where you're like, wow, I never knew this much about myself. Like, I don't know if you have
okay,
been through those stuff, but I've personally
definitely.
been through these kind of phases where like afterwards I just look back and I think like, wow, like I don't want to be like a narcissist and say that I'm a better person, but I would say that I've grown through this
Oh
experience that
yeah,
I
yeah,
had.
yeah.
But
Definitely,
in your terms, if you're like in the spiritual context, then yeah, definitely the great awakening, right?
I mean, it's just a really interesting concept because a lot. I don't know if it is a trend or people just want to hop on the bandwagon, but recently I've seen, I've seen a lot of these great awakening pose, angel numbers. Okay, I'm not completely against that because because I myself is a little bit spiritual as well, and
Ah, okay. I
yeah.
mean, I have nothing
There you go.
against like
Confession.
really
You
spiritual
better
stuff. I
not be
think it's just
against it.
no. I think it's just two sides of a coin, right? So what I always
Yeah,
believe is
definitely.
that science is not a opposition to like whatever spiritual stuff you're saying. I always think that
Yeah.
it's like a different interpretation. So like it's just like languages, right? You speak English, you speak Spanish. Although they might sound different, they have different grammar, or they have different like rules towards that specific language. But when you say something,
Hmm.
they still mean the same. So my relationship with these spiritual stuff is, I think that as long as I can find like what you're saying, for example, like you said, the great awakening, right? As long as
Yeah.
I can translate that into a
Oh, okay,
scientific
okay.
term that I might prefer to use, I would totally agree with you, because even if I don't speak your language, I know what
Okay.
you're talking
Okay.
about. And then from there on, I can be like, yeah, definitely. And I would like, I'm not really against anything. I'm just like, I'm really open to like learning. It's just like learning a new
Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
language. You're still speaking the same thing. It's like, let's say you want an apple in English versus you want an apple in Chinese. You're still doing the same thing, but then you're doing it with like a different language, which I think is
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
beautiful. And it's a really beautiful part about humanity and conversation in general. Like, I really appreciate these stuff.
That's true. That's true. And also sometimes, I'd say like 80% of the time, I'm more inclined to science facts and stuff, right? But
Yep.
sometimes it's just like cool to succumb into the idea that there are more to just physical stuff and
Ah,
facts, right?
yes.
Even sometimes I may not believe whatever people are saying, like all these beliefs and supernatural stuff. Let's say I don't believe them, but sometimes in my opinion, I feel like it's fun or interesting to just give up and give in to the idea and let yourself feel if there's actually a possibility that this may happen to you, or these more than physical stuff can actually take place in your life. That's my whole
Would you
approach to
say
this.
that it's sort of like that feeling when we used to read like fairy tales when we were like children? So you're sort of like, no, I please, I'm not trashing on anything. I'm just saying that, is it like this sort of, because you, I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember that
exactly, like
feeling.
Magic Tree House, dude.
No, I don't know if you remember that feeling when you were a kid and you like genuinely believe that Santa Claus
Yeah,
is real. That kind of feeling,
I'd
which
I,
is,
I'd say I'd say yeah.
it's
I'd
really
say yeah,
pure, right? It's really pure, it's
yeah,
really relaxing. There isn't like that at that stage you don't really know the like ugliness of the world, that kind. So for you
yeah,
to replicate that same feeling and basically seek comfort in something, whatever that thing is, right? Be it spiritual, be it science, whatever you want to believe in, right? I feel like
yeah,
that sort of feeling draws people toward it. And I think, I mean, in this case, I would
yeah.
like, is that how you would feel? Like, am I
I
providing
I'd
like a
say I'd
correct
say I'd
description?
say yes. I'd say yes because to be honest, I don't really know why I do that, but I'd say I agree with what you said because I seeking comfort maybe, but it's just I in my opinion, I think it's just fun and interesting to do so because
No, I don't mean
there's no
seeking
yeah.
comfort in like a bad way, not like relying
No, no, no,
on
no, no,
like
no. Yeah, yeah,
substance.
yeah.
I mean
I
like
get yeah.
like replicating that feeling you had.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I know, I know. I know you don't mean it in a bad way, but I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
I don't think I'm seeking comfort. I'm
Uh-huh.
just saying how
It's like a
I just yeah, it's just like a
escape. Would you say it's an escape?
yeah, a tiny yeah, 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 a tiny window for
Yeah, yeah,
myself
yeah.
for my
A
mind to
tiny window
escape.
for you, like escape. So like, I always
Yeah.
had this like fantasy that I kind of want to fly, just like
Hell yeah.
get away from stuff. But yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah.
sort of like that kind of feeling. But we people might experience it differently. So you might be like, maybe like spiritual stuff. I might be just like, I don't know, daydreaming. Who knows? But I think we're all talking about the same thing, right? It's like
We're
that
talking about the
feeling
same
of
thing.
escape. Yeah.
We're talking about the same thing, baby.
Uh huh.
So there's no discrimination here. But yeah,
Yeah, of
this
course.
whole subconsciousness, dream, astrology thing, although they may sound, completely, uh, three completely different things, but they're like super, maybe not astrology,
Maybe,
but
I
they're
don't
like
know.
super, maybe astrology, I don't know.
I don't
But they're like
know.
super connected to a point that there's almost no way for you to understand it.
But I feel like that's the beauty of the human mind. It's like,
Oh, just be super secret. Just
no, I
a
feel
huge
like
secret.
it's all these stuff, be it subconscious, astrology, all these things that we experience or we seek out, it's really like, I feel like it's really artistic in its own self, like the expression itself, like the
That's
journey
true.
to like seek out who we really are. It's like part of humanity, part of what we all do, right?
That's
Some people
true.
take
That's
it like
true.
a psychological, scientific, behavioral science, that path. Some people take like, oh, star signs, moon signs, or some people are like Buddhism or like astrology. But I feel like these different paths, they all have like the same end goal. It's just us trying to understand ourselves better. And I think this whole journey, be it which path you take, it's really beautiful. That's what I'm trying to say.
Super well put. Super well put. Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful in the end.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down from like yesterday I had this conversation with my mom about
Okay.
this Greek mythology, right? So this guy
Oh, which
named
one? Which one?
Icarus, right? So
Oh, okay.
so he had this he had this wing, so like
Mm-hmm.
feather and wax, right? And then he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
fly, and his
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like his dad told him to like, yo, don't fly too close to the sun. And then he was
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm so hyped up about flying, I want to go
Yeah.
touch the sky. But then the sun
Yeah.
burned his wax and he fell down, and like, I don't know, did he die? But basically is
I
that.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like when I read it as a child, I feel like the message was like telling you to be obedient, those stuff, like follow the rules, or you're gonna
Uh.
like end up crippled, right?
Uh.
But then as
Yeah.
I like go through your like in your language, in your terms, the great
Okay.
awakening
Okay. It's
period
it's
of my life,
it's
right?
not my language, bro. It's not my
Or
language.
whatever. So basically, as I understand more about myself and I look back at this
Yeah.
story, I sort of understand what Icarus is trying to do, because everyone, I believe, okay, I don't want to generalize, but I think that for me at least, I always had this feeling
Mm-hmm.
that I want to, reach something, find out something that
Yeah. The
that like
curiosity.
yeah, the curiosity that makes us, that what defines us as humanity. And I think it's actually I mean, the story itself is kind of sad, but then if you look from it from another angle, I think the story of Icarus is just like really close to home. It's like basically describes humanity as well, right? We always
It's
want
like
to
how
reach out.
people. Yeah, it's like how people when they're a child they like Batman and when they grow up they like Joker.
Oh, really? I mean, I grew up
Oh,
hating Superman.
oh,
I think
do
he's
you like
really
him now? Do you like him now?
no. I think he's still really
No, still
bland.
okay.
Like
No,
I think he's
I'm that example is basically how when we're young, we
yeah.
like we like good guys, and then when we're older, we understand why Joker is Joker.
Yeah, you sort of have like a better picture, so you don't view things from like,
Yeah,
oh, he's the good guy, he's the bad guy. You sort of see the more like reasoning to it,
yeah, that's true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah, but basically my experience with like when I said like the story about Icarus and stuff was like, I feel like his pursuit to like touch the sun, that this behavior is sort of like a really poetic um depiction of the same thing we're all trying to do, right? We, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, we
yeah,
can't get to know who we really are, but for the whole duration of our life, we're bound to keep trying, and no matter which path we do, we're all gonna try and figure out who we are. And at the end, like, I'm not saying that you will like burn your wings and drop down, but I think that this is, at the end, it's like a beautiful pursuit
yeah.
to have, to like trying to
Motivational
understand more.
podcast, gentlemen's
Yes,
discourse. Let's go.
motivational for sure.
Motivational podcast.
Yeah, go
But yeah,
ahead.
that's
Fly up and touch the sky, right? Don't let
do
anything
it.
stop you. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah,
Don't let
this
your
whole
dreams
thing.
be dreams. Yeah.
I'd say because like I don't want to dive too deep into it, but basically my whole I would say my whole teenage year, but like recent years, just basically me actively trying to seek out who I truly am.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I dabbled into all these astrology stuff, scientific stuff, dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more, and
Sure.
therefore all these questions.
It's always good to have questions, right?
Is it though? Is it though?
I mean, if you don't have questions at all, then
I mean, yeah, having an
right?
adequate amount of questions is good, but having too many questions, that's is not always good.
I mean, having questions, things like that. It's like I don't know. I mean, it still comes down to like asking the correct question, right?
Yeah, asking the correct question. Yeah, um, but so yeah,
I feel like
that's
I feel like this podcast itself is it's sort of like the same thing that we're like you've been trying to do, right? It's like we're both obviously still trying to like find understand a bit more about ourselves. We're still like trying with different stuffs in our lives, but I feel like uh if like people can like come together and like share this journey or like what we're doing, we're like sort of sharing with
yeah,
everyone else. I feel like a lot
our
maybe a lot
struggles.
more people can like I don't know resonate
We can
with our
motivate them
experience.
to actively search for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Because like you
Yeah,
said, the Great Awakening. It's a really
the Great
beautiful thing.
Awakening. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use that a lot. Like
Okay.
people just
But
gonna
yeah,
ask me
thank
like,
you
"Yo,
for.
yeah."
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say like when people come up to me like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm just gonna be like, "Yo, I had this great awakening." Like,
Yo, last night, dude, can you believe that? Yo, I went through this crazy phase. Oh, what is that? The Great Awakening.
yeah,
Just a
dude.
cool name to slap on puberty.
Yeah, just
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk shit about Great Awakening.
yeah, yeah. I feel
But
like
yeah, but yeah,
the more we say, the more trouble we're gonna get in, huh?
yeah. But yeah, thank you for staying with us for like almost an hour, listening to
Yep.
us talking about like discuss about subconscious, I guess. It's
Yeah.
a really interesting topic. Actually, we could have dived deeper, but that would be way too long. That would be a whole another
I feel
like
like we can talk
standalone
forever.
episode. Yeah, this is because this is a rabbit hole,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
I mean,
But
and I feel like we're just like it's a obviously this episode is much more casual, and we're sort of just rambling.
yeah,
I I,
we
I
should
I
we should
apologize if
invite
this
people.
is yeah.
We should
Oh,
invite people to
you want
talk
like
about
more
stuff
people,
like
huh?
these.
All right,
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. But
Maybe we
yeah,
will
I was
have a
trying to
guest
say
next time. Who knows? Stay tuned.
we
Hey,
should, we should. Yeah. But
yeah,
thank you once again. Make sure to subscribe to the Gentleman Pursuits YouTube channel if you have not already, and make sure to follow Gentleman Pursuits on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to
all
stay
that good stuff.
updated, because all that good stuff. Because this is not the only podcast series that we're doing. There's another one where I talk about watches and whiskeys, and the Gentleman Pursuit. So make sure to go subscribe to the channel, follow us, stay updated. Hope you
Yep.
guys are having a great day. Staying hydrated, staying healthy. Wear a mask if you're sick. Stay home. Just do your part. And once again, thank you for tuning in.
And see
I'll
you
see
guys next
you
week.
in the
Bye
next
bye.
episode. Bye.